Yeah, so it's a really fun concept. It is a concept that if you have the perspective, different perspectives could be very daunting, right? If that's your perspective of this really hard thing to do, and it could be very simple. And your perspective, your outlook, your ability to process the thought is going to be your level of this experience. So, today, hopefully, we can undaunt it a little bit, right? Taking your Christ out into the world. And I'm kind of combining some concepts of the new year and some of our traditions as well as we go through today. So, what is the Christ? The Christ is that inner spark of divinity that is within all of us that does not judge, that does not create chaos, that does not align with anything other than God or anything other than love. So that Christ is within us, and then we sit here today, our tenet of this church is that Christ is within in everybody, no matter what, no matter walk of life, no matter what culture, no matter what thought, belief system, anything. If you watch the Morgan Freeman documentary on Discovery, The God Particle, same concept, that spark of divinity that can go unexplained logically for many, many people that we know is our Christ. It's not Jesus, the Christ, was a full example of the Christ, which we hold the spark of, and we try to execute as well as he did. So, that's our Christ. Now, how do we take that into the world? We have a tendency in our world, in our daily worldly ways, which we do not preach to disconnect from. This isn't a monastery of monks. We preach to bring the Christ to that. In our worldly way, we tend to take in cloud and create a fog around our Christ, right? If you think about it as a light source or a lighthouse, and not in a lighthouse in guiding your morality, a lighthouse in beaming your heart. And we tend to take our daily lives, our everyday grind, and put a fog around it and kind of create a cloudiness around it. So we kind of have to, I believe, address that fogginess in order to really allow it to shine. We can say, oh, just bring your Christ to the world. And me saying that to Bill is about as effective as what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes it daunting, right? It's not, we need to just kind of uncloud it. Take that fog and clear it a little bit. So hopefully today we'll try to look at, I'm not going to be able to tell you how to do it because that's a personal journey for everybody, but we'll look at kind of some steps, the environment we're in right now energetically, and a couple things that Jesus spoke about that I think are really powerful to try to help us set a baseline in order for us to create that journey where we can do that. So I think right now, the time of year, logically, most people logically, myself included, say there's no difference between today and August 5th. It's just the turn of a page of a calendar. But if you really truly look at it metaphysically, we've come from a spiritual celebration that energetically the connection to Christ and God and love and harmony was close. That veil was thin for Christmas. And it is every year. And it's not about the gifts you get. It's about the whole experience of everybody together, creating and seeking harmony, support, love, and dream fulfillment, right? You spoke on that a little bit last time about Santa doesn't hold back. Do you expect God to as well? So we're very close to that energy as a group, and now we are going into this energy of the new year, and the collective thought of the new year is that you can change. The collective thought of the new year is that you can have a different experience, you can have greater. So we go from this, and I don't think it's a coincidence. And even if it is calendar-wise, it's not anymore because the energy of the group has agreed upon experiencing these two things very close together. We touch God, now we want to bring that out into our new. And they're very close together. They're very close together. So the group energy of harmony, love, fulfillment, immediately into creating new And it's the place that we're at now. And if we can allow that to inspire us to create what we want, we can really look at putting Christ as the lead in our world. Not Jesus the Christ cross, the inner Christ that expresses, that doesn't have the stuff connected to it, that it has love, harmony, brotherhood, self-fulfillment, all those things included into it. So we stand in a great time of collective thought that we've all agreed it's okay. We've all agreed it's okay to think and want bigger. So we are allowed permission at this moment in time to expect more. And we have a divine connection not a week ago. A divine connection still running through our desires. So let's take that time and go through. Now what happens is, I think a lot of times we get in that group thought and we want greater and we want all the extras and we're really into the burning bowl ceremonies and all that good stuff, which is all great. But we take that inspiration we have from the group thought and we don't ever take it and own it and drive. We allow it to inspire us and we use thoughtfully, we think of it as enough. And that's where you tend to have your crash and burn type, I guess that's not a great word. Those dreams that tend to falter over time, February, April, June, July, they don't get sustained through the year because it was the group mentality that drove the energy. We never owned it and we never started driving. So really the mindset of taking this time, the energies you're feeling, take it, use it as inspiration, use it as the pregame pep talk, but take ownership of it and start driving, and that's what we're experiencing. That's what we're experiencing all together, all simultaneously. We're not all here to create everybody else's dreams. We still have to create our own. But if we can use that to propel us into what we want and how we want to express the Christ. I use an example. Have you ever been or seen someone? And to me, sorry guys, football, sports, it's kind of the thing, so we'll get some sports stuff. But have you ever taken somebody to a game? Or we used to see this a lot in college and stuff with the girlfriends, fiancés would come to a game with a group of us that were really hard fans, right? And we're yelling and screaming. And we are, our journey at that moment is to be totally invested in that sporting event, right? That person has genuine excitement when the team gets a first down. That person genuinely, the guest, genuinely jumps up and down and yells when the team scores a touchdown. At the end of that game, that person that came goes home. Do you think they ever watch a game again? But do you think that genuine excitement was fake? No. And that's the same around here. Around this time of year, that genuine excitement we have is real. And it shouldn't be discounted as, oh, just another tradition. There's a reason it's just another tradition. So we take that excitement, and if you do want the change, take it and then you drive. Because it's not about the football. It's not about the team. It was about the feeling that person experiences, right? And it may not be theirs to have. That was just a small example to show you how the group energy can inspire and do those things, right? So our goal is to take that inspiration, take that group thought that we have right now with divinity close to new. We're really taking the ideas of God, new, into our world. If you think about it even chronologically, experientially, traditionally. Love God, love Jesus, celebrate harmony, presence, love, food, create change. Right on the back of it. Now, if you do want change, if you don't, clap for me at the end, be happy, I'll take it, and go do your thing. I'm fine with that. That's totally great. But if you do want to try to allow Christ to be part of your world in a greater way, take that group energy as inspiration, not as fuel. and bring it inside, and then you create from there. Once you start driving, you will see the longevity of that change. You will see the actual potential experienced into reality. It won't die on the vine, because the group mentality is going to go back to the grind by February. Do you know what I'm saying? So if that's the fuel that drives your fire will go out. Take the inspiration, take the spark, and make it yours. So last year, I really, for a couple years, I've been wanting to get a shotgun, right? So, and it's, I used to kind of go out in the field back in the day and enjoy shooting clays. They throw the little fake, they're called clay pigeons, whatever. Throw them up and shoot them, right? So I used to enjoy that, and I've really had the urge to start investing energy into other things that I enjoy that I didn't experience as much in my life beforehand. Because we always have to change our outlets, right? Or we end up getting mad at them or too good at them, right? We need a little challenge. So anyway, I had this urge, which I believe also is spurned spiritually. Of course, you have an urge to change something after experiencing the connection to divinity. I had this urge to do it, and I'd been putting it off. And one year, I'd asked for money for a shotgun. And what did I do with that money for that whole year? Went somewhere else. It might have stayed in my closet. I might have forgot about it, right? And then the next year, I finally went and bought my own shotgun. And it was last year, and I wanted to start going clay shooting because I knew I liked it, and I wanted to do it. And so my group of friends wanted to do it, and we've always had a tight group of friends that have been supportive of multiple avenues of recreation. But always supportive, and I mean it. I mean it. Very supportive. It is, I believe, a very unique situation I have. But I wanted them to go with me too, and it became one of those things where nobody could go, and nobody could go, and nobody could go, and nobody could go. But it was my urge. It was my desire. So finally, instead of allowing the group to dictate or that group energy, that group thought to train me into the pattern that it wanted, I said, you know what? I'm going to go this date. If anybody wants to show up, they can show up. Everybody showed up. Everybody showed up. They miraculously found the time to do it. We all did it, and I have been continuously going for a year now, and it has become a goofy thing. It's recreation. It's not this major thing, but it's simple, and in its simplistic nature, I am able to feed many aspects of what is me and what is my Christ. And it can be that simple, and that's my point from the beginning. Something is an activity, a frivolous activity that does not produce any money. It costs me money. And do you think I've regretted $1? And I can't even explain to you the amount of connection on many different levels to the people that come with me, to the experience of solitude, because I'll go by myself. You guys ever spend an hour with earmuffs on by yourself? Try it. You are, and to me, it is a wonderful experience. Just the ability to feed myself through some sort of frivolous activity because I took it and drove. And I didn't let the group thought dictate when, where, and how. Small example. And of course, I've gone a lot. The people that still go with me, there's 4 or 5 of us, we love it. We love it. It is totally a new experience that we all can get along with. So that's one idea. So take your group, take your inspiration, and if you want to do it, go. Don't let the group dictate. Don't let the energy of the group, because it will wane, right? It will wane. If you want it, go get it. All right, so another idea I want to kind of put out there, and I like this. This was my first thought when I was told what the topic was on today, and many of you know it. But let me find it, and I'm going to read just here. It's the idea. So Jesus is at a feast, and this guy Nicodemus is asking him a bunch of questions. And Nicodemus's questions are, why don't the teachings of Christianity just go through the established Jewish church and faith, and we can do it that way? And it's the old, can't have new wine in old wineskins. So I just want to read you. So I'll just read through and we'll go from there. Now Nicodemus, who once came to Jesus in the night to learn the way of life, was one among the guests. And standing forth, he said, Rabboni, is it true that Jewish laws and Jewish practices do not agree? The priesthood needs to be reformed. The rulers should become more merciful and kind. The lawyers should become more just. The common people should not bear such loads. But could we not gain these reforms and not destroy the service of the Jews? Could you not harmonize your mighty work with that of the Pharisee and scribe? Might not the priesthood be benefit to your divine philosophy? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Jesus. Right? This is the idea. Why can't these ideas flow through the old establishment? And many of our logical minds say, why not? We're right there with Nicodemus. Why can't I change that and still do the things I've always done? And how many of us do that? Why can't I still experience more prosperity and never look for another job? Do you know what I'm saying? Could you not harmonize in the philosophy? But Jesus said, you cannot put new wine in ancient skins, for when it purifies itself, it expands. The ancient bottles cannot bear the strain. They burst, and all the wine is lost. Men do not mend a worn-out garment with a piece of cloth unworn, which cannot yield to suit the fabric. Weak the age, and greater the rent appears. Old wine may be preserved in ancient skins, but new wine calls for bottles new. The spirit truth I bring is to the generation new. If we put it in the ancient skin of Jewish forms, it will all be lost. Behold, the kingdom of the Christ is as old as God himself, and yet is as new as the morning sun. It only can contain the truth of God. Jesus said, you cannot put new wine in ancient skins, for when it purifies itself, it expands and breaks the bottles. So what's that idea? New wine in old skins. To me, it's very much a kind of a life lesson. We teach and preach to a lot of people. We don't necessarily maybe not realize the metaphysics of it, but would you tell an alcoholic to keep going to the bar? The skins can be looked at in many ways. It can be looked at as very much our material stuff. There's an easy way to say that, right? But it really should be looked at as our patterns. Because those are the things that create the fog around our light. The patterns, the thoughts that we've held since we were children about how we are unworthy, that we can't even sometimes find or know we have. Those are the things that create, and those are those skins that can hold us. We want the new. We want Christ to flow through, but our old patterns will create restrictions, and therefore we'll burst and we will be unsuccessful, right? You can't put old wine in, or you can't put new wine in old skins is very much a, try to go on a diet and have lunch at a buffet every day. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right? Try to do that. Try to, whatever. Take a guy that gambles too much and tell him to live in Las Vegas. Take somebody that wants spiritual enlightenment and restrict him from seeking out others who want the same. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a failure. It's not going to work. It is an experience that will not yield the expected harvest. But I challenge this as well. Think about it the other way around. You cannot put new wine in old skins. You cannot put old wine in new skins. I watched I forgot the movie, but it's The Rock. It's a comedy. And it's basically the storyline is this chubby kid gets made fun of, gets bullied, and then uses all that motivation to become The Rock, right? You guys know who The Rock is? Yeah. Big, jack guy, physically fit. But throughout the movie, there's one scene in that movie, big, huge guy, everybody's scared of him. It's a funny movie, so if you guys know what movie I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But The Rock, jacked, football guy walking around, is saving the day, and while he's saving the day, he looks into a mirror, and what does he see? He sees the little kid that's fat and chubby that got bullied, and is sad. That's old wine in new skins. That's why sometimes you can do things, and I'll use myself as an example. I've always yo-yoed weight-wise. And I've always tried to control that. And I've been successful. But it's always back. I was able to create new skin, but there's still that thought, that something. And I'll tell you what, I'm still working on it, right? But it's that old wine into the new skin. We have to work on that balance of both. An easier one for you guys to laugh at me about. Ready? Ready? I have a bad trait. I'm not going to say bad. I have a unique trait that not everybody in my house likes of leaving dirty laundry on the floor. If I get a new house, where do you think my laundry is going to be? On the floor. Until I change the laundry habit. It does not matter what. I could live in a cardboard box. I could live in a $5 million mansion. My laundry is going to be on the floor until I change the laundry on the floor. So we go through both of these back and forth. We've always been told new wine can't go into old skins. Quit putting old wine into new skins too. We do both. We get the new car because we want to experience prosperity, wealth, and blah, blah, blah. And it is dirty within a month. Because the old wine of not washing, not cleaning, not doing those things continues to go, right? And so that retail therapy is some of the, it's fun, right? And it works when we do those things as long as the wine is new as well. The thoughts, the beliefs, the self-judgments, or at least if we're working on them, we can't just snap our fingers, right? Really, my idea is blend. What's your wine blend? You 80-20 new or you 20-80 new? Do you know what I'm saying? Because we're all blended here. We can say we're perfect or whatever, but there's thoughts and beliefs and systems we're working on and will be for the rest of our lives. What's your wine blend? What's your skin blend? Right? And do they support each other? Are we saying one thing? Is our Christ urging us to do something here for new wine and our patterns not changing, our skin remaining the same? It will not come to fruition. It cannot. Are we simultaneously trying to allow our Christ to drive and do new thought and changing our skin, at least putting effort into it? It will work. It will work. It may not be overnight. We may have a lot of work to do on either side. But I can tell you now, if you're not doing both, it ain't. It ain't. And sometimes if you really do allow the Christ to drive and take care of you, you will find changes and miracles in both of them that you did not do. But if you're not working on both of them, it doesn't leave room for those miracles and for that growth and for that energy to create into change. So it's funny. I thought it was going to be a good little example. I think I'll give you the full example here. Ready? You ready for it all to come together? Back to shotgunning. and I'm just going to be honest. I have a group of friends. We've been friends for a very long time. Some of them since kindergarten, well throughout the growing up phase. And we've been together. And I can make a phone call and be taken care of. That friendship has been based off of friendship first, but has experienced many hobbies, right? That friendship had a skin. I had an urge to be supported in another way. I took that inspiration of the new year, did something as silly as try to go shotgunning. And now it's that group, friends, still has all the other skins, but now has a new skin, which is driven through the urge from somebody's individual Christ to let that lead. And now the group of friends is not disbanded, is not angry, is not mad. It is more complex. And then there are more opportunities for everybody within that group to experience different things. Logic, America, all these things tell you to run away. If you want change, don't do this. Or it's about abstinence, or it's about restriction, or it's about all these things to do change, right? You know you can lose weight and eat exactly the same thing if you're powerful enough. Are we there yet? No. So, but the point I'm trying to make, an individual spark that took the energy of this time of year, took ownership of that as inspiration and drove it, has now created a space where others can be supported in different ways. And the people have not changed. The space has expanded. The opportunity for growth has now become more diverse. It's not centered around a bar stool. Do you hear what I'm saying? Same people, different experiences. That's the power we have. And in the most simplest thing, and it may be only my perspective, but dang, what a good year, right? So, defog your Christ. Be inspired by this time of year. Take it as inspiration. It's not fuel. Go do what you need to do to let your Christ be front and center, and you will be taken care of. And how to do that? Just watch your skins, watch your wine. Like seriously, you guys know better than I do. I don't know what your brain is saying. I don't know what you want to change or what you're working on, but you know when your new truck's dirty, and you know what that means. So I wish everybody a wonderful new year, and I wish that every single day is a wonderful experience for your growth on Christmas levels. Right? All right, let's try to anchor it in. Take a breath, feet on the floor, try to get comfortable. Now I want you to visualize a column of light coming over you. Then we're going to go up that column of light. Rising up the column of light, we are lighter and freer. And we're just going to rise up to get out of our patterns. Now I want you to find a nice little stopping point wherever you need to go. Whatever it looks like, just take a breath, take a moment to look around. And in this space, I want you to visualize your Christ, your personal spark of divinity. Is it foggy? Is it shining bright? Now, today, we are just going to thank God for this spark. So, I want you to express your gratitude to that divine spark with no expectations of change. We are just going to be grateful that we have the tools, that we are built to be divinely connected on a day-to-day basis. God, we are grateful that we are equipped with our spark of divinity. We love the opportunity to expand and allow this to be the driving force in our life and our actions. And we are grateful to you, God, for the ability to come and experience all this together with our brothers and sisters, so that we have support, obstacles, experiences that allow us to grow this divine spark. In your own way, say it. I am grateful. Then we're going to come back down. When you come back down, just know your love, that divinity, all of that can be charged throughout your world. You just have to use it. And you have it. You got it whenever you want it. Take a breath. So it is. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.